Really?
Hello, this is MattiAce, and yet again as we have decided to make life harder for pilots in Planetside 2, the effectiveness of the dedicated air-to-air guns have been diminished, mainly against tanks and infantry players. So now, like so many times before, when as we make balance changes when it comes to weapons and vehicles, they refer to statistics. And for whatever reason they have decided not to share the statistics with the community, and I don't really know why. There are some sites that have some statistics, but it's not any official statistics from SOE, at least as far as I know. I don't know how they calculate these statistics, if all the information is there or if it's only like the top 100 players or some such. But what the real reasoning behind why they had to nerf ESFs is probably the result of the ongoing discussions on the Planetside 2 forum. So now, before I played Planetside 2, there was 3 games that I played online that had aircrafts in them, and I was also quite active in the discussions when it comes to balance between air and ground. Now, the 3 games I'm talking about is first a game called Frontline's Fuel of War. Once I was done with that game, I started playing a game called Battlefield Bad Company 2, and after that I had an about 6 month period when I played Battlefield 3. And the one thing I've realized playing all these games and flying in all these games is that the balance discussions will always follow a certain pattern. And the one thing that is a constant in these balance discussions is that people that can't fly will always argue that air is overpowered. This is one of the things that never changes. So now lately, or maybe I should say the last 6 months, there's a lot of pilots that have left this game. But it seems to me, at least on Cobalt, that this has not affected all factions equally. A lot of people have expressed their frustration over Cobalt being very dominated in the air by the Terran Republic. Now, Cobalt is the server where I have my main character, and I mainly play TR. Now, Cobalt used to have a lot of dedicated pilots, and it was especially a lot of good pilots on the Vanu side. But after the introduction of the Striker, there was a lot of Vanu and NC players that was really frustrated over the game, and I know that the Striker is one of the reasons why a lot of pilots have left. And I think this is one of the reasons why on the statistics it may look like the M18 Rotary has been the best air-to-air gun. Now, the Mosquito has its strengths, don't get me wrong, but it's not the M18 Rotary, and the adjustment should have been done elsewhere. So now, why a lot of pilots are leaving the game and why they are not replaced with other players is one of the main focus on this video. It is very easy to kill ESFs, and it shouldn't make much sense shooting with a carbine on a site like this, but the one thing that you can be sure of if you see an inexperienced pilot is that he is going to die very soon, and you might as well just get some XP for it. And that is one of the reasons why ESFs constantly take damage. Now, a lot of the things that I'm saying about ESFs is also true when it comes to Liberators, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. But first I want to bring up something that a lot of you guys have actually pointed out, and that is pilots like myself. I am one of those very experienced pilots who find air-to-air combat to be the most fun, challenging and interesting part of Planetside 2. Now, there's not that many of us, but the ones that still play, we spend a lot of time outside of the actual game practicing. We learn from each other's, and the result of this is that the newer pilots are in a fair fight more or less chanceless. And yeah, I agree that this is actually a problem, but another main problem is that the ESFs doesn't really fill any other role. And whatever you want to achieve in Planetside 2, if you are not one of the top pilots on your server, you are going to achieve that better by spawning something else than an ESF. And when it comes to getting a high score per minute and some such, the most effective way of doing that is to be good at air-to-air, at least in my experience. Now, what would have made a lot of sense would be if ESFs were the natural counter to Liberators. But there are many much easier ways to kill Liberators than with an ESF. And because Liberators are so easy to counter from the ground, there are not that many of them. However, when I see a Liberator, I normally stay away from them. They are far too dangerous for a single ESF to deal with. You are very exposed to enemy ESFs, and even if you are only fighting the Liberator, it will take a lot of time and a lot of ammo to kill it. In most situations, I just fly away and try to find another target. But now, after the performance update number 2, I think that Liberators might actually be more interesting to a lot of players. We'll see how that pans out. but I haven't been in a Liberator in a long time. But I know that there was quite a few of you who seem to enjoy my Liberator videos, so yeah, let me know. Maybe there's something you want to see in the future. So now another thing that I want to add to the video that has nothing to do with balance is that during the time that I've been playing and mostly flying after PU2 came out, I haven't had any crashes, and that is something I am really happy about. There was a lot of game crashes, especially related to ESF gameplay, that happened after the first performance update. But yeah, hopefully this has been resolved. So for you guys who are new to ESF gameplay, take some time in the VR training area, get your controls and your mouse sensitivity the way you want it, and check out some tutorials. I have a few, but there are a lot of pilots who have a lot of great content on YouTube, and if you have the possibility to download the test server, you absolutely should do so, and you should find a couple of training partners that you can duel with the way we do our 1 versus 1s, the more experienced pilots of us. And that's the main difference between ESFs compared to most of the other playstyles, weapons and vehicles in Planetside 2, is that if you are already a good and experienced first-person shooter, you are quite quickly going to be very successful in tanks, maxes, and as an infantry player, assuming you have that experience from other games. But flying an ESF is very unique to Planetside 2. It doesn't have many similarities to any other games out there, and I get a lot of questions from players: how do I get better, how do I improve? And people are of course always trying to find the best tricks and tips to improve as fast as possible, but there are very few shortcuts. You have to take the time and you have to practice, and if you stray off by yourself and you end up fighting a more experienced pilot, your chance of winning is going to be minimal. This is something that a lot of newer pilots have expressed their frustration over, and I don't really know what else to say about it. The air gameplay is not very integrated with the whole meta game of Planetside 2. I wish it was, but as of now that's not the case. So I'm going to end this video with a 3-minute uncut gameplay, and as soon as I can I will get back to you guys with whatever I have to say about the second performance update. So thank you all for watching, and bye for now.
Holy shit. The hyper boost. How much do we get that for one dip? For one finish?
Shit lord. Nothing.
Can you imagine all for the cap? Oh. Okay.
We are going back there. I'm just scanning these areas. No Sundays. Is that the enemy galaxy? Oh, no.
Get hit.
I'm gonna go for the Sunday.
There's a sky guard or something shooting at the multi.
Scott. Take that. Fucking.
Yeah, dead.
Now the galaxy, now the galaxy.
Oh fuck! Look at that.
Lost it. So up, no mine.
Ah, nice. What did Matti do? How much did you pay him? How much did you pay him now?